So typically in GeoPix, the workflow is you create some fixtures, you create some hulls and picks, and then maybe some generators, and you create your pixel layouts, through that workflow in 3D. But there might be situations where you have some kind of spreadsheet or some kind of raw data bank of lots and lots of pixels, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, and you might be needing to bring that into GeoPix. So in this video, I want to walk you through how to take something like very simple. It's just a column and row, Google Sheets type of thing, and bring that into GeoPix as a fixture. And then we'll kind of go ahead and go through that and test it out and make sure everything's working with the projector and all of that at the end. So with that said, the process is quite simple. So we're going to start by creating a fixture by going to the Create tab, Objects All, and click on Fixture. Once we have that down, you'll notice over here that it says 0 pix, and that's because there are no elements inside this fixture. So if we go over here to the Object Mode drop down and change it to Pixel Mode, that will take us to Pix Mode. And if we go over here to the Fixture drop down and click on Raw Data Editor, that's going to open up a new pane for us to work with. Quick note about this pane, you can also get to it by clicking on the Chords button over here in the bottom right at the Attribute Editor. This is going to be visible if you're in pixel mode, so definitely check that out. Alright, so we've got this open and we have 4 buttons at the top here. We have Full Dictionary and Chords. Basically these are 2 different modes. This is like advanced mode, this is like a simple mode. And then you have beneath that a Get and a Set button. Now the Get button will basically fetch whatever's in the fixture and it will kind of update that and put that information into this text edit area, and then Set we'll do the reverse, and it will send the information that you've put here, that you've modified potentially, and it will push that into the fixtures stack. So using this is quite simple. If you have a spreadsheet, all you really need to do is copy and paste these grids right here. And the way this should be formatted is X, Y, Z, X being the first column, Y being the second, and Z being the third. Don't copy any extra fields, and everything should be filled in. There should be no empties, no empty lines, so don't have like a line like this that will cause errors. And just copy that with your keyboard, Control C or whatever it might be for you, and then over here in coordinates only, just kind of paste that in and click Set. And that's it. That's all you have to do to get these pixels into GeoPix, into this fixture. So once you've done that, you can go back to Object Mode. You can duplicate that fixture if you would like, and you can do whatever you need to with it. But that being said, there's a few constraints that you should be aware of when working with this workflow. If your data, right, is representing not necessarily pixels, but maybe say fixtures, and those fixtures are not the same kind of fixture, as in they have different types of channels or different channel layouts, this solution will not work, because the way fixtures in GeoPix operate, at least the traditional fixture, the strand fixture that you see here, is that every single pixel has to be the same channel layout. And you can actually see what that is in the object attributes of the fixture by scrolling down to the fixture section and the parameter called chan order. So the default is RGB, because it's assumed you're probably doing stuff with RGB pixels if you're using these. But you can actually change this, right? You can just go here and put RGBW with commas, and now every pixel in your strand is actually a 4-channel pixel instead of a 3. You can also do anything else you want here as well. You can be a 1-channel, a 2-channel, a 15-channel. I recommend keeping it with RGB, or things that are very short and repetitive, because that's kind of what they're designed for. But the flexibility is there. It's abstract enough to function for any kind of channel, even if you can't see that channel being manifest in the viewport. So we'll leave it as RGB for now. But just know that's where you would change that. You can also reorder it, so you can do BRG or GRB or something like that. But generally those changes should be made in your pixel controller, not GeoPix. So, okay, so that's kind of note number 1 is, all of your pixels have to have the same chan order, because they are inheriting it from the object parameters. So you can't have one pixel be RGB and the second be GRB. You have to have them all be RGB. The second constraint to keep in mind with this workflow is that these pix are sequential, meaning that in address space, they're all back to back, right? There's no space between them. So you have the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel occupying channels 1, 2, and 3. And then the very next one starts at channel 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on and so forth. So if you have a situation where you need, the first 4 pixels to be sequential, but then you need like a 100 channel gap, or you're going to the next universe for the next pixel, you're actually going to need to split that up into 2 fixtures, because each fixture has a starting address of a universe and a channel, but then within that fixture, each pix is sequential, and there's no space, and there's no way to create space between those. So keep that in mind as well. But if those 2 issues aren't really issues for you, then this might be a great way to kind of import that information straight from a spreadsheet. One other thing to note, if you have this data in a spreadsheet, Google Sheets, when you copy it, it pretty much just gives you a tab separated, piece of text that's in your clipboard. And this is parsable by GeoPix. You can also have commas, which is actually the native format here. And you can also have spaces, which also function just fine. You can even have situations where you have multiple spaces and multiple mixed symbols. I mean, I don't recommend this. It's good to have clean data coming in, but the system is smart enough to be able to parse some of this kind of inconsistency out. So if I click set, it should understand that just fine. So other cool things you can do with this workflow, you can go back into pixel mode. Once you have these in your actual fixture, you can actually transform these and move them around, right? So you can also take this process in reverse. You can do a get, and you're going to have the updated coordinates here, and you can do what you need to do with those. You can take them into a spreadsheet from GeoPix, and you can use that for other purposes, so that's very handy. These are local space coordinates, right? So if I take my fixture and I rotate it around and go back over here into Pix mode, you'll notice that when I click get, it's the same information, and that's because this exists relative to the object, right? The fixture object, which is in the center and it's rotated, but the pixels are not aware of that rotation. Just put it that way. So that's something else to keep in mind. Okay, so let's just do a quick projector validation of this, and we can wrap up this video. We're going to create a projector, and we'll just scoot this back and make sure it's covering the entire fixture. And if we just scroll down in the projector, we'll take our red channel here, the constant color red, up to 255. So you can see that our pixels light up, so everything is working correctly. Same with green, same with blue. Go back to red for a moment, and we go up to the top, channels and channels tool. We can actually just do a quick validation of our DMX data as well. So if we click on fixture buffer, choose universe layout, set that to universe layout if it wasn't already, and set this to universe 1. You can actually see your actual output buffer here, right? So we have red, green, blue, red, green, blue, red, green, blue, and so on and so forth. So if we take our projector and we just kind of go through the red, green, blue constant colors, you'll see this updates as you'd expect. So this means everything is good to go and functioning as it should. This is a good step to always check. If you're having issues, just come look in the channels tool and make sure that the raw data is actually doing what it should be doing. Okay, and that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.